introduce our last speaker for the day. We now request Mr. Balamurugan, Council Member, IIF Chennai Chapter, to do the needful.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to introduce Mr. R.Vijay Balaji. Mr. Vijay Balaji is born out 14th December 1969. He graduated as a BE Mechanical Engineering, Annamalai University. He have overall 30 plus years experience in sales and service, wide type of capital equipment used in metal and sectors and process industries used in foundries, dryers, coolers, executors, mixers, and special purpose machines, pick and place systems, and other process equipments. He was worked multi companies like Baroda Machineries Manufacturing and Tejo Engineering Companies and Maxon Corporation, India, Pune, and right now he is a founder and proprietor of Fettling Automations. So please welcome for the great speech, sir.
Dear Foundrymen, usually Fettling equipment are the last to be ordered, same as my presentation today. So we'll be the last to present to you. So budgets are constrained and here time is constrained. So we're going to take you very fast through the presentation. Basically, Fettling shops, which I've generally seen across foundries, that is one place where customers, your customers, you don't want to take your customers there, basically because it's quite a dangerous area. So we have seen many foundries generally going through this cycle. And if you have such a problem, we could be of use to you. And the Fettling shop could be one of the neatest areas you ever have in your foundry if you have a proper degating and proper grinding section. So the whole concept is that we are a foundry equipment seller concentrating on providing solutions for Fettling requirements. We have equipments from India, we have equipments from China, and we sell and service equipments from Australia too. Australian equipment is basically for steel foundries, and the Chinese are basically 5-axis, 2-axis grinders, which are quite hit in the market now. We are concentrating and delivering 17 grinders till November of 2022. We would have delivered all 17 grinders, and we would be actually, we are also establishing an experience center in Chennai so that customers can feel the degating equipment and then buy them. We came into the market quite early when Fettling was a gray area, but not very clear for foundries to implement it or not. But now we see a huge scope where we start with degating equipment. These are degating pneumatic hammers. We go from sizes of 35 mm diameter of risers to around 350 mm diameter of risers. Ashok Leyland gave us an opportunity in 2020, and this is one of the equipment you see. This is breaking an alloy 400 by 18. This is a pneumatic hammer which has very low operating cost. We could consider around 70 paisa per hit. And we supplied a small hammer to Ashok Leyland, and with that credibility, we had many more orders. We also do spreader wedges. These are not the regular wedges. We don't allow the centerpiece to come out, so that way we eliminate a lot of wear and give better life of tools to customers. We also have a runner bar cutter, which is quite unique in its operation. As you can see here, we can cut up to 55 mm dia risers. Now, I'm going to skip the wedge part and the runner bar cutter part because I have something important to talk about, which is the CNC grinding machines. This grinding machine is going to be on display during Interexpo Coimbatore and was on display during the IFEX 2022 in Ahmedabad. This is basically a machine for round castings and where the ingates need to be grounded. And we also do a little of the ovality removal of the casting too, but too much ovality removal cannot be done with this machine because it has limited capacity. We have two particular capacities. One is a 200 square mm or a 400 square mm. We have two separate machines for this. This is of course a machine made in China, sold with our warranty in India. These are the technical specs of the machine which I can share with you anytime later. We don't have the time right now. We then go on to 3-axis machine which are basically for rectangular parts, railway parts. We then go on to our 5-axis grinding machines. This is one of our hallmark products. GV120, we are going to get at least 6 machines in India. This is basically a small grinding machine and then goes on to the GV230, which is up to 30 kgs casting. Then we have orders for the GV270, which is for up to around 60 kgs castings. And then we have a hybrid model GV270 Plus, which is again meant for up to 100 kg castings. In total, we have a combination of orders of 17 machines, more coming through, hopefully. Now this is not in the level of a robo, but then below the level of a robo, which is basically a Cartesian coordinate system, which makes it very simple to program. This is the total presentation of the different models of machine and their capabilities. Basically what we do is that this is with a CNC controller, and I'll take you through a video of the hand programming we do. This could give you a better idea about the machine. It's a short video.
Equipment inspection and maintenance. Clear oil stains and dust on all parts. Each production shift shall clean the inside of machine tools. Clean and clear. There shall be no dust or sundries on each part. Visual inspection, visually check whether the connecting parts are loose, such as press arm and connecting mechanism. Whether 3 shaft pins move. Lock it or them when necessary. Lock threaded jacks. Electrical box filter maintenance of cooling air conditioner.
I won't need the volume because I want to speak to you. This is a pneumatic, top catch of the part, and the part is fastened in the fixture below. And this is the servo drive mechanism we have with diamond bonded wheels. Now the basic advantage of these wheels are that we don't need to wear compensate these wheels. So programming consistency is very uniform and it lasts for a long time. Now this is basically about the construction of the machine. So what I want to focus on is we usually have difficulty with manpower. We are considered as competitors to manpower, but actually it's not the fact. We can't do 100% fettling of the job through the machines. We can only achieve around 60 to 70% of the job. We want manpower and the management to understand that we want to work with the manpower and then give them more valuable jobs to do than these kind of repetitive kind of work. It's also an unsafe environment, so we try not to compete with people. Okay, manpower elimination is a goal, then maybe we are not the right guys to work with you. Yeah, we can contribute in a way to it, but then 100% fettling is not justifiable and not expected, I think, of many people, of many foundries. And that day is yet to come. I mean, it may take maybe 30, 40 years to achieve that. So we now have resistance from manpower when we implement automation projects, but then we try to overcome it because we anyway can't do 100% fettling. Now, yeah, so we clear up a lot of unproductive space in foundries. We clean up foundries in the sense indirectly by supplying our machines. We have dust collectors for our equipment. So we see a cleaner fettling shop, and we see a grinding dust free kind of atmosphere too. Now, what we have seen is that the challenge is, of course, proving to a foundry that they need automation in grinding. Usually, it is the customer who says that they have a need, and then they come to us. So we need to work with customers who already know the cost-benefit analysis of these equipment, and then support them accordingly. Next point is size variation in castings. We don't deal with castings, with manufacturers who have too much of size variation in their castings, because we don't have a casting size variable kind of grinder. So we stick to castings which have minimum variation. And most of the castings we try out are castings within allowable tolerance of maybe 1 or 2 mm. The limitations of a grinder, it's like a CNC machine. A CNC machine cannot grind. So this machine can grind, but then we have some limitations too. We can take reasonable loads. Manpower not cooperating results in higher feed rates given to the machine, which is to be avoided. I'll take you through the next video, which is basically on hand programming basics. It is so easy to program this machine, so we don't see people having difficulty programming this machine. So this video will go on, I'll keep talking. So why we can't do 100% fettling is, it's actually on how productive the machine is. We need to keep the machine very productive in terms of cycle time versus number of casting processed. So if you're going to use the machine to fettle each and every part of the casting, then we lose productivity in the machine. So we generally encourage customers not to look at 100% fettling. Yeah, now basically there are many in the market who sell grinding heads or diamond bonded grinding wheels in the market. We see a problem in that because there is no understanding between the surface speed of the wheel and the dia of the wheel and the RPM of the wheel. This plays a very important part in achieving a higher amount of material removal. Our approach is everything automatic? No, we are doing semi-automatic machines. These machines assist manpower in producing high volumes of castings. When you're looking at, say, around 12,000 to 20,000 parts, repetitive parts, to be done in a month, a grinding machine will be very practical for you. But then if you're looking at very low volume productions, this machine may not be that suited for a foundry. We have dealt with castings as small as 500 grams, and we are supplying machines for pipe fittings of 100 kgs too. So we have the range. We have the range in place. So what we want to end with is that management usually takes care of manpower, and so we have a smooth commissioning angle going on. We are building our service team more in West because we have around 14 machines coming in West, and we have 3 machines coming in South India. So we are building up a service network here too. Okay. Wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and if we have time, you can go through this video, which will give you an idea about the segments we program. These are simple programs which are very, very low space. So it takes a very low kind of data space So we have innumerable number of programs which can be done. This is basically hand programming. Okay, this is particularly a part we did for Nailcast, and they've ordered us 2 machines. I think they'll be the first to get the 2 machines in India, although they were one of the last to order. You can go through it, and any doubts, any questions, if we can answer them.
Any?
Built in with load sensors.
Yes, sir?
This grinding wheel built in with load sensors. So
No, sir, no, sir. We control the feed rate through the through the CNC.
oh, there is no load sensors.
No load
because
sensors.
overloading, based on the sensing, it just
No.
retracts. That
No,
doesn't
no.
happen.
What we ask customers to do is a little of manual chipping.
Okay.
And we, as a challenge, we can take up to 8 mm, but then usually around 5 mm. And we have a separate machine for shell castings, small
Okay.
castings. Shell has very less burst. So we generally sort out the castings, basically with higher, material removal rates and lower removal rates. So we usually take a set of 8 castings, usually from 1 or 2 subsequent bunches or batches. So we know what is the average kind of flash you have or the amount of material.
But unfortunately, every date code there can be a change in the flash levels. So every time when you load the same job even, so the teaching need to be done based on
Yes,
the flash level that particular day upon which we go about, right?
Definitely, if it is going to be above 8 mm.
Yeah, fine, okay.
But regularly, if you're going to operate on 8 mm thickness
No.
material removal, it will
Yeah, I
be
understand,
difficult.
yeah. Right.
So we generally sort it out as batches, because the trend of, having more parting line to be removed usually occurs in batches.
But how does you claim the cycle time being superior in compared to that of manual?
We have a process.
That is only one challenge which I have also been seeing,
Yes.
where it takes a lot of time and then depending upon the complexity of the castings, not all I would say. There
Yeah.
the manual is much easier is what they claim about.
Yeah, what we do is first we take from the customer the raw casting presentations. We define what is the flash time. Then we compare it with the finished casting drawing. And then this both is done by our engineering team. And then the cycle time comes back to us. And once the customer orders the parts, orders the machine, we do a trial for them physically in China. We prove out the cycle time, and then the machine is lifted by customer. So we have confidence because the engineering strength, what we have invested on in the last 1.5 years, has proved to be quite good. So we achieve our predicted cycle times usually. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir,
Thank
for
you.
an excellent presentation. We now request Mr. Vignesh Ramnan, Honorary Secretary, Chennai Chapter, to felicitate Mr. Vijay Balaji with a traditional Angavastram. We now request Mr. P. Sendil Kumar, Chennai Chapter Treasurer, to felicitate Mr. Vijay Balaji with a memento under Foundry Metallica. Thank you, sir.